Good morning, Hafide Tiro Fai Show, and welcome to your house chamber to this session. To the people in the viewing public, the gallery, and out in the lobby, welcome to this session. And I'll call this ninth day, second regular session to the order. Please let us all rise for a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. And I'll recognize the clerk to please call the roll.
Representative Fada,
Quick recess. Back to session. Before we went on recess, we were on roll call, and I'd like to recognize the clerk again to call the roll.
Representative Fada, Representative Aldan, Representative Fatal,
Present.
Representative Beneventi,
Very good.
Representative Angelo Camacho,
Here.
Representative Diego Camacho,
Present.
Representative Joel Camacho,
Very good.
Representative Vicente Camacho,
Present.
Representative Castro,
Stiga.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Present.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Present.
Representative Manglonia, Representative Bogo,
Here.
Representative Omar,
Present.
Representative Probes,
Present.
Representative Sablan,
Stiga.
Representative Nicolas,
Present.
Mr. Speaker,
Present.
Representative Yantamay,
Nyangi.
Representative Yumo.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 19 members are present and 1 member is absent.
Thank you, clerk. With 19 members present, that constitutes a quorum for this session. Please note that Rep. Manglonia, TJ Manglonia, is hereby excused. And before we move to public comments, I'd like to recognize the floor leader for suspension of rules. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to suspend Rule 3, Section 6, so the House amends its agenda to include unnumbered bills and resolutions and communications not filed within the clerk's office 72 hours in advance when a notice for session was given and posted. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made by the floor leader for the suspension of rules, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fada, Representative Aldan, Representative Fatal,
Yes.
Representative Beneventi,
Good.
Representative Angelo Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Diego Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Joel Camacho,
Good.
Representative Vicente Camacho,
Yes.
Representative Castro,
Good.
Representative Joseph Flores,
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores,
Yes.
Representative Ogo,
Yes.
Representative Omar,
Good.
Representative Probes,
Yes.
Representative Sablan,
Good.
Representative Nicolas,
Yes.
Representative Yangtamam,
Our.
Representative Yumo.
Present. Yes.
Mr. Speaker,
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 19 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With all 19 members present voting yes, the motion hereby carries. Thank you. We now move down to item number 2, public comments, and the podium is open for public comments. Please state your name, the entity you represent, and you'll be given 5 minutes for your public comments. If you have any written comments and would like to submit it for the record, please pass it on to the Sergeant at Arms, who would give it on to the clerk. Thank you. Podium is open. Seeing that there is none, we'll now move down to item number 3, adoption of journals. We have none. Move down to item number 4, introduction of bills. And on behalf of Rep. TJ Manglonia. I recognize Representative Roy Adda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to formally introduce House Bill number 23-84 to prohibit minimum dollar amount requirements for purchases using credit card and/or debit card, pre-filed by Representative Thomas J. Manlonia and co-sponsored by myself. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Roy Adda, for introducing on behalf of Representative TJ Manglonia. House Bill 2384 will be referred to the Committee on Commerce and Tourism. And I'd like to recognize Representative Ralph Yu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now introducing House Bill number 23-85 to allow for businesses who cumulatively possess more than 100 rooms to engage in electronic gaming activities offered by myself and several others and open for co-sponsorship. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Yumo. House Bill number 23-85 is hereby referred to the Committee on Gaming. I now recognize the Chairwoman of JGO, Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to formally introduce House Bill number 23-86 to modernize the crime of burglary and the punishment ranges, offered by myself and several others. It's also open for anyone else to sign. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you, Chairwoman. House Bill number 23-86 will be referred to your Committee on JGO. Any other unnumbered bill? Recognize Chairman Malcolm Omar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Introducing House unnumbered bill to amend 3 CMC subsection 2824 to authorize the Commonwealth Healthcare Corporation to establish a charitable foundation. Introduced by myself, and I welcome others to co-sponsor.
Thank you, Representative Omar. Your unnumbered bills now numbered to House Bill number 23-87, and under the advice of council, it will be referred to the Committee on Ways and Means. Any other unnumbered bills that anyone that would like to introduce? Yeah, Ways and Means. Okay, with nothing further, we move down to item number, any local bills or initiatives? None? Ready? Okay, we'll move down to item number 5, introduction of resolutions, and I recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At this time, I'd like to offer House Resolution 23-10 to honor and commend Mr. Timothy H. Bellis for his relentless dedication and countless contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands, offered by the committee as a whole.
Okay,
Thank you.
you. So just for the record, I was going to ask just to make sure if there's no objection, but already there's no objection. So no objection. Yeah, so not everyone signed. So, but since there's no objection, House Resolution number 23-10 is hereby introduced as a whole of the committee. Thank you, Chairwoman. I'd now like to recognize the Vice Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Officially introducing House Resolution number 23-11 to recognize and commend the Guam Army National Guard's 94th Civil Support Team for their outstanding efforts and continuous contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. And if there's no objection, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to place this in the Committee of the Whole. Thank you.
No objection. No objection. Okay. Thank you, colleagues. With that, House Resolution number 2311 is hereby introduced by the Committee of the Whole, and both resolutions will be placed on today's calendar for action. Any other resolutions? Ready? Ready. All right. We'll move down to item number 6, and I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 6, messages from the governor, we have 3 items. Governor's Communication 2356 to 2358.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under messages from the governor? Thank you, Leader San Nicolas. And with that, I think we'll move forward. We'll now move down to item number 7, Senate Communications. We have none. Item number 8, House Communications. I recognize the clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Item 8, one item, House Communication 23-74.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under House Communications? Ready? Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 9, communications from the Judicial Branch. Clerk.
Thank you again, Mr. Speaker. Under item 9, communications from the judicial branch, we have judicial branch communication 23-6 and 23-7.
Thank you, Clerk. Any discussions under messages from the judicial branch? Recognize Representative Marissa Flores.
At this time, Mr. Speaker, I'd just like to let the committee know that due to the submission from this correspondence by the court, I will also be calling a meeting later on to discuss these rules. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairwoman. And yes, and with that, Judicial Branch Communication 23-6 and 23-7 is hereby referred to the Committee on JGO. Your deadline is January 1st, so yes,
Privilege,
Representative.
Mr. Speaker.
Recognize
Not
your
under,
privilege.
not under, my apologies. Back to item 6 on the agenda. We'll be keeping Governor's Communication 23-58 on the agenda moving forward for.
Yes,
All right.
thank you, Representative Attal,
Thank you.
for that. We will be leaving 23-58 on the agenda for the upcoming sessions for now. Thank you, Representative Attal. We'll go ahead and move back to where we're at in the agenda with nothing further under communications from the judicial branch. We move down to item number 10, communications from departments and agencies. We have none. Item number 11, miscellaneous communications. We have none. Item number 12, reports of standing committees. I recognize the clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under item 12, we have 4 reports of standing committees. Standing committee reports 2355 through 2358.
Thank you, clerk. I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-55, reporting on House Bill number 23-74 entitled to impose an additional 3% tax on the yearly gross revenue of construction activities in excess of $250,000 for a period of 3 years. Your House Committee on Ways and Means recommends that the House pass the bill in the form of House Bill number 23-74, House Draft 1. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-55, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, all in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 2355, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report number 23-55 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-56, reporting on House Bill number 23-45 entitled to amend the crime of child abuse. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass the bill in the form of House Bill number 23-45, House Substitute 1. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 23-56, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, all in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 23-56, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. 23-56 hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 2357, reporting on House Bill number 23-65 entitled to prohibit the selling of copper wire for a period of 2 years and for other purposes. The House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass a bill in its current form. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 23-57, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready. Okay, all in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 2357, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report 23-57 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 23-58, reporting on House Bill number 23-67 entitled to amend the authority for compliance officers to staff treatment programs in the judiciary. Your House Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations recommends that the House pass the bill in its current form. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 23-58, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor to adopt Standing Committee Report 2358, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Standing Committee Report 23-58 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 13, reports of special and conference committees. We have none. Item number 14, unfinished business. We have none. Item number 15, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt House Resolution number 23-10, a House resolution to recognize Mr. Timothy H. Bellis for his relentless dedication and countless contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of House Resolution 23-10, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor to adopt House Resolution 23-10, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. House Resolution 23-10 is hereby adopted. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move to adopt House Resolution number 2311, a House resolution to recognize and commend the Guam Army National Guard's 94th Civil Support Team for their outstanding efforts and continuous contributions to the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the adoption of House Resolution 23-11, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor to adopt House Resolution 23-11, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. 23-11. House Resolution 23-11 is hereby adopted. Thank you, colleagues. And with nothing further under the resolution calendar, we move to bill calendar, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to pass House Bill number 23-45, House Substitute 1, from Standing Committee Report number 23-56, a bill for an act to amend the crime of child abuse. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill number 23-45, House Substitute 1, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fata?
Yes.
Representative Aldan? Representative Fato?
Yes.
Representative Benavente?
Good.
Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Castro?
Ungan.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Bogo? Representative Omar?
Hungan.
Representative Probes?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Ungan.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yantamay?
Our.
Representative Yumo? Representative Ogo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With 18 members present voting yes, House Bill 23-45, House Substitute 1 hereby passes the House. Floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now move for the passage of House Bill number 2367 from Standing Committee Report number 2358, a bill for an act to amend the authority for compliance officers to staff treatment programs in the judiciary. So moved.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for the passage of House Bill 23-67, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? Okay, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fata? Representative Aldan? Representative Fato?
Yes.
Representative Benavente?
Good.
Representative Angelo Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Diego Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Joel Komatsu?
Ungan.
Representative Vicente Komatsu?
Yes.
Representative Castro?
Yes.
Representative Joseph Flores?
Yes.
Representative Marissa Flores?
Yes.
Representative Omar?
Hungan.
Representative Probes?
Yes.
Representative Sablan?
Ungan.
Representative Nicolas?
Yes.
Representative Yantamay?
Our.
Representative Yumo? Mr. Speaker?
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, all 18 members present voted yes.
Thank you, clerk. With 18 members present voting yes, House Bill number 23-67 hereby passes the House. Thank you, colleagues. Regarding the other two House bills on the bill calendar, they will remain on the calendar as some important amendments are forthcoming. Thank you, colleagues. We now move down to item number 17, miscellaneous business. Don't be shy now. Floor is open. Recognize Representative Yanktamai.
No, I just want to thank everyone that showed up at the promotion for Lieutenant Commander Sarah Lynn Kaipat Escobar. Thank you. Kaipat Ogumero Escobar. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Yanktamai. Anybody else? Floor is open under miscellaneous. You want one? Okay, I recognize the floor leader.
Good morning. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I just wanted to mention that on last week I saw on the headlines of one of the local newspapers that higher taxes mean higher prices, and I was intrigued by that for many reasons. What we have been seeing for quite some time now is inflation on all commodities, on all goods, nothing spared. That goes from Pampers and baby formula all the way up to beer and soda. Um, I'm just a little bit surprised at the numerous attacks that we continue to receive for raising a few taxes here and there. And when I say this, what is so shocking is that every Saturday I go shopping with my wife, and we go shop. And one thing that I've noticed, because I do put mental notes into it, is how from one week to the very next week, there has been an increase in basic goods, from whether it's canned goods to bacon or just about anything that we look at. So it's almost shocking when we are being attacked for the very small increase that we are making on container beverages, on beverages that normally have been increased for many, many years. And no one's really gone out and gone crazy over it. But the mere fact that we're going to ask for a 10-cent increase per can of soda or beer or whatever beverage, and certain people are screaming about it, is shocking, because those prices have gone up dramatically. I don't know if you remember, but just a few years ago, what we were paying for a case of beer versus today. And that wasn't caused by those container taxes or anything. And the only reason why we agreed to do that was we had a $9 million shortfall that we all discussed, this body, all of us together as one. And we're discussing that we did not want to create any more hardship on government employees by cutting more hours. And that was sort of the agreement that we made, that in order for us to move forward, to go more than 10 hours in a cut would be very hurtful to many families, especially those who are barely making ends meet. But the nice thing about these specific taxes, is it didn't increase the cost of spam or canned goods or anything, or basic commodities. We didn't want to do that. But yet inflation has. So it's very shocking when we continue to get slammed for trying to figure out how we can come up with that $9 million shortfall. And as I've said repeatedly, if somebody has a better idea as to how we can come up with $9 million to fund our government that is struggling right now, then please let us know. Some of these taxes are going to hurt a little bit. They're going to sting a little bit. But I've continued to say this. What is the alternative? There was talk about raising the business gross revenue taxes, if you can recall. And business were up in arms. They said we suffered enough through COVID. And many of them said we weren't one of the fortunate ones that got boosted. Now you're going to hit us with more taxes. The fact is, BGRT hasn't been increased for decades, and we didn't do it. We didn't put any sales taxes in because that basically would just increase the price of all goods. We've been selective. So I continue to ask those who continue to criticize, we welcome your criticism, but give us the alternative. And if you're one of the persons that's telling me, well, let's cut the government by 20%, do we start with you in that cut? Do we start with your job? Because the way that we like to say is that no one should be just expendable, and no one should just be thrown away like that. Everybody has bills to pay, and we've tried to keep this government afloat together. There has to be cuts that have to be made. We know that. We do know, as one of our colleagues has stated, that this government is bloated. It is. It can be trimmed, but is right now the time to do it, where there are very few jobs that will pay a fair living wage to pay for your family. Because most businesses that are offering $7.25 an hour starting salary are unrealistic, because who can raise their family with $7.25 an hour? Realistically speaking, you can't do it without the assistance of the government. So I continue to ask those who are out there who have better ideas, better solutions, to come to this body, come to the speaker, come to the vice speaker, the floor leader, any of us here, and share with us your ideas on what we can do so that we can ensure that we don't have to raise taxes, that we can cover this $9 million shortfall and more. But I will never forget, never, why we are in this predicament right now. Some are trying to brainwash people into saying that, are you better off now? No, because we're actually trying to take care of business. Because for the first time, this responsible government is going to try to balance its budget. And we are doing that in working together with this administration. We want to ensure that we don't finish in the red again. After how many years in a row we've finished in deficit spending? We can't do that anymore. Constitutionally, we can't do that. So it ends now with responsible government that's fiscally conservative, but also figuring out the best ways to ensure that we cover that $9 million shortfall. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. I yield.
Thank you, floor leader. Floor is still open under miscellaneous. Ready? All right. We'll move down to item number 18, announcements. Any announcements? None? Ready? All right. We'll move down to adjournment, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Subject to the call of the speaker, I move for adjournment.
Thank you, floor leader. A motion has been made for adjournment, and it has been seconded. Any discussions? Ready? All in favor to adjourn, please say aye. All opposed, please say nay. The ayes have it. Session's hereby adjourned. Thank you, colleagues.